Previously on Pretend, secrets tangled in silence, hearts guarded behind pretenses. But tonight, the line between what's real and what's pretend is about to blur. In Chapter 6, She Is Mine, Maan takes a bold step that could shake the foundations of everything Geet has built. When pretend turns into possession, will Geet play along? Or walk away again? Stay tuned for an emotional storm, only on The Velvet Story. Chapter 6 She Is Mine, Maan's soliloquy. I came here 3 times. The first time, it was just an invitation. Simple, formal, impersonal. But I remembered her eyes, how they held defiance and hurt. The second time, I dropped Abhi here quietly. She didn't know. I didn't want her to. My presence in her life had already stirred enough storms, and now, the third time, this time I came to take my bride, because without the bride, how could there be an engagement? Without her, the entire charade I built would crumble into dust. This place, her world, never once questioned my intrusion. No watchman stopped me. No one raised a brow. It was like fate was silently opening doors, letting me walk deeper into a life I wasn't supposed to touch again. But what's my motive? To hurt her? Never. To win her? I never claimed that. I just need her to pretend to be my wife. Simple, right? I pretended once, in front of my mother-in-law. It wasn't hard. So why should it be hard for her, right? But then, I never knew a surprise could hit me like this. She wasn't trying. Not in the least, and yet, in that simple pink and white suit, she looked, not just hot. Not just beautiful. Today, she looked sinfully sexy, like elegance and temptation collided into one woman, standing before me in a kitchen of memories. She didn't notice me at first. She was about to pour hot milk, lost in routine, when she heard my voice. I didn't know you were not just hot, but S2, John. Can I get a cup of coffee too? She froze.
Her breath caught mid-motion. The spoon in her hand stilled like time itself had paused. Her eyes widened, panic, confusion, fury all flickered in that one glance. Her hand tightened, the metal clinking slightly. Why is he here? Why didn't anyone stop him? Her heart raced, mine did too, but I couldn't show it. I watched her, this woman who once stormed out of my life without a second look, freeze in the present that neither of us planned for. She didn't speak, but her silence screamed volumes, and yet, her body betrayed her, because somewhere, deep inside, she still responded to my voice. Her soul remembered. She turned, our eyes locked, something shifted. A storm, silent and thick, swirled in the space between us. I stepped closer. Geet, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. This act we're playing, it's becoming dangerously real. She didn't respond. She couldn't, because, maybe, just maybe, it already was. End of soliloquy. Mr. Khurana, don't you have manners? And what the hell are you doing here? She asked, her voice sharp, like shards of glass wrapped in velvet. Maan arched a brow, unfazed by her fury. In fact, he almost looked amused. Manners? Why, Geet? Her jaw clenched. She hated when he twisted her words, when he acted like this was a game and not the battlefield it truly was. Mrs. Rathore, Mr. Khurana. I don't understand how many times I have to tell you, she snapped, adding fire to formality. Maan's smirk deepened, his eyes narrowing in challenge. Who? Mrs. Rathore, he repeated slowly, deliberately. Geet. He said her name like it was a secret, like it was his to say. And in that moment, her heart did something it shouldn't have. Her heartbeat thudded unnaturally fast, erratic. Did he know? Does he know about me? Her thoughts spiraled, anxiety rising like floodwater. But then she caught his smirk, teasing and irritating. She exhaled in relief. No. He didn't know. Not everything.
Mr. Khurana, can I ask you one question? She said, trying to anchor herself. Go ahead, he replied, with the attitude of a man who never feared answers. Why are you here at this hour, when your family is waiting for you? For your engagement? The word tasted bitter in her mouth. She hated even saying it. Nice question, Geet, he said, as if they were discussing the weather. He picked up her coffee like it belonged to him. Mr. Khurana, that was mine. He looked into the cup and then at her. Now it's mine. If you don't have any problem, we can share it. There it was. That smirk again. That irreverent, infuriating smirk. She clenched her fists. She hated him. She had to hate him. So why was her heart betraying her? No thanks. I don't share with thieves. He laughed, an actual, low, rich laugh. I don't steal anything, Geet. Don't you have manners to offer something to your guest? I didn't want to make you embarrassed. So I did it on my own. She glared at him with eyes sharp enough to wound. I usually offer more than something to my guest. But not some unwanted guest. She stressed the word like it was a slap. Good point, Geet, he winked, unfazed, still leaning on her nerves like a cushion. Thanks, she replied with icy sarcasm. Geet, let it be all the drama, he said casually, sipping the coffee again. And by the way, this is the best coffee I've ever had. Thanks for it. Now, listen to me carefully, I want you to return my obligation. Her eyes narrowed. As if. Geet, act as my lover in front of my family, she blinked. Once. Twice. And then her whole body froze. What, Geet, I'm telling you the truth. I don't want this engagement. I don't want this marriage. I just want to enjoy my bachelorhood. In peace, then tell your family. Why do you need to pretend, Geet, if they listen to me? Do you think I'd be here asking you this? His voice cracked, not loudly, but enough that she caught the edge behind the arrogance. Tell them anyway. I'm 101% sure they'd never coerce you again, you're right. But even so, this stupid engagement will continue, if I don't act now. Geet stared at him, her mind reeling, then something flashed behind her eyes. Flashback start, I would be more grateful to you, Meet, if you told me before. I know I could have handled this situation with care, she had said, that night still echoing. Geet, Mom was adamant. I was scared. In your fear, you ruined my life, Meet. If you dared to tell me earlier, I could have helped you. I was scared, Geet. Geet, you're free to do anything now. Just pretend in front of my mother. You'll always find me beside you when required. Meet, I'd appreciate that. If the situation was different. But now, I can't, Geet. Please, she had turned away, but his voice had caught her once more. Geet, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, keep your sorry with you. I don't want to see your face in my entire life. So never show your face again, Geet, please, and she left him on their marriage night, from his room. Flashback end, Geet, look, I could compel you. But I won't. I want whatever we do to be mutual. She glares at him, sarcasm thick. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. Khurana, he rolled his eyes. Now think fast, I'll help you. But I have one condition. What condition? Maintain one-hand distance. His lips twitched, almost in disbelief. Why, does my presence create havoc in you? She stared at him, and for a second, he truly wondered if she would kill him with just that glare. Fine, I won't help you, she snapped and turned to go, but before she could, he gently caught her wrist. Okay, but please help me. Her gaze dropped to their hands. He followed it. Silently, he let go. The moment cracked like porcelain. Give me half an hour. One more condition. It's not a condition. She turned to her work again, ignoring the intense way he was watching her. He simply sat there. Scene shift. Maan's reaction. Maan was already waiting outside, a faint smile tugging at his lips as he saw Geet walking towards him. She had taken her time, half an hour to make sure Abhi was fed, and another half an hour to prepare herself. Geet always managed to look flawless, no matter the occasion. Maan admired the way her presence commanded attention, how she carried herself with an air of confidence. She was beautiful, undeniably so. But there was something about the way her almost bare back shimmered under the light that made his breath catch. The ride to Khurana Mansion, the drive was quiet, both lost in their thoughts. As the car pulled up to Khurana Mansion, Geet stepped out first, her heels clicking against the pavement. She stood there, waiting for Maan to join her, though something in her body language suggested she wasn't looking forward to this evening. Maan followed her out of the car, and as he stepped up beside her, he placed a hand on the exposed skin of her bare back. The contact was electric, sending a shiver down Geet's spine. Geet froze, her breath hitching. Mr. Khurana, behave, she snapped, stepping away from his touch as she swiftly turned to face him. Maan raised his hands in mock surrender. Sorry. But Geet wasn't done. This is the first and last time I warn you, she said, her voice sharp with authority. Don't touch me again. Maan smirked, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and defiance. Maan, you got a chili? He teased, but the words were laced with mischief. Geet, if you're showing yourself off like this and want me to control myself, sorry, I can't. Geet shot him a glare, her hand instinctively covering her back as if to protect herself from him. Mind your language, she hissed, her patience wearing thin. You're breaching the contract, Mr. Khurana. Maan shrugged, his smirk never fading. Not my fault. Geet's eyes narrowed, the fire in her gaze unmistakable. Watching her move. Cook. Pretend like nothing was wrong, but everything was wrong, and still. She was beautiful in her stubborn grace. She quickly made dinner and placed it on a tray. Don't move here and there, Mr. Khurana. Fine, ma'am, he said like a schoolboy caught in class. Geet left the room with the tray in her hand. Geet's apartment, a bitter bond. Geet stood at the table, gently coaxing Abhi to finish his dinner. The room was filled with a heavy silence, broken only by her soft voice. Abhi, have your dinner. But Abhi was more interested in playing. Abhi wants to play with Mama, he whined, his eyes wide with innocent pleading. Geet's heart twisted, but her face remained unreadable. She had grown accustomed to this routine, where she cared for him but never allowed herself to show warmth. She took a deep breath, her voice steady. Abhi, I have some work. Please, eat your food. Though she was formal with him, deep down, she knew Abhi wasn't at fault. He was just a child in need of attention, something Geet had always struggled to give. Geet's interaction with Mrs. Rathore. Mrs. Rathor's voice broke through her thoughts. Auntie, have your dinner and don't wait for me. Geet paused, glancing at her. Are you going out for dinner? Mrs. Rathore asked, her eyes studying her with mild concern. Geet looked away, her emotions tangled. No, Auntie. But I can't tell you right now. I will tell you once I return, she said, her voice softer than usual. Mrs. Rathore nodded in understanding, though there was something in her expression that suggested she was trying to piece things together. Geet gave her a small nod before excusing herself. She quickly changed into a sleek silver and black chiffon sari, applying a touch of strawberry lip gloss. She let her hair cascade over her right shoulder, the cool fabric of the sari hugging her curves perfectly. She walked towards the door with purpose. Let's go, Mr. Khurana, Geet said, her voice firm yet soft. Scene shift. Maan's reaction. Maan was already waiting outside, a faint smile tugging at his lips as he saw Geet walking towards him. She had taken her time, half an hour to make sure Abhi was fed, and another half an hour to prepare herself. Geet always managed to look flawless, no matter the occasion. Maan admired the way her presence commanded attention, how she carried herself with an air of confidence. She was beautiful, undeniably so. But there was something about the way her almost bare back shimmered under the light that made his breath catch. The ride to Khurana Mansion, the drive was quiet, both lost in their thoughts. As the car pulled up to Khurana Mansion, Geet stepped out first, her heels clicking against the pavement. She stood there, waiting for Maan to join her, though something in her body language suggested she wasn't looking forward to this evening. Maan followed her out of the car, and as he stepped up beside her, he placed a hand on the exposed skin of her bare back. The contact was electric, sending a shiver down Geet's spine. Geet froze, her breath hitching. Mr. Khurana, behave, she snapped, stepping away from his touch as she swiftly turned to face him. Maan raised his hands in mock surrender. Sorry. But Geet wasn't done. This is the first and last time I warn you, she said, her voice sharp with authority. Don't touch me again. Maan smirked, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and defiance. Maan, you got a chili? He teased, but the words were laced with mischief. Geet, if you're showing yourself off like this and want me to control myself, sorry, I can't. Geet shot him a glare, her hand instinctively covering her back as if to protect herself from him. Mind your language, she hissed, her patience wearing thin. You're breaching the contract, Mr. Khurana. Maan shrugged, his smirk never fading. Not my fault. Geet's eyes narrowed, the fire in her gaze unmistakable. Keep yourself in control, or I won't help you in stopping your engagement, she warned, her voice low, though tinged with uncertainty. Maan raised an eyebrow, his challenge evident. Fine, let's go. Geet covered her back with her hair and marched ahead, determined to stay in control despite the chemistry buzzing between them. Scene shift. Khurana Mansion, engagement party. Inside Khurana Mansion, the party hadn't officially begun, but the tension was already palpable. Only the Khurana family and Sameera's relatives had arrived. Sameera, clearly upset, approached Maan with a strained smile. Where were you, Maan? She asked, her voice quiet, almost desperate. Maan, however, wasn't in the mood for niceties. He stared at Sameera, a cold edge to his words. I don't owe you any answers, Sam, he said, his voice calm but filled with finality. Sameera's face faltered, and her anger simmered beneath the surface. Maan, we're going to get engaged, she said, her voice trembling with a mix of hurt and frustration. What do you mean by this? Maan's eyes flickered to her, his tone still unwavering. Who told you that? He asked, his voice sharp, betraying the depths of his emotions. Maan. His mother said, her voice laced with concern. What are you talking about? The truth, Mom, Maan said firmly, his eyes scanning the room. I'm not going through with this engagement. I'm done pretending. The room fell silent, every eye turning to Maan, stunned by his words. Maan, stop your drama, his father warned, trying to regain control of the situation. This is not the time for this. Maan stood his ground, his resolve unwavering. Dad, I told you already. I'm not doing this, he declared. His grandmother, Dottie, spoke next, her voice sharp with authority. Maan, enough. You need to stop playing games. You're going to settle down now. Fine. But the girl I'm marrying is my choice, Maan shot back, his tone daring anyone to challenge him.
We asked you? His father scoffed, his voice dripping with disbelief. But I got my girl a week ago, Maan said, his words like a bomb dropped in the middle of the room. He didn't look at anyone when he said it, he was focused only on one person. Geet, Maan added, his voice calm, but the entire room seemed to hold its breath. A shocked silence followed. Maan's admission had stunned everyone into stillness. Mrs. Rathore, Sameera's mother, was the first to react, though her voice was barely a whisper. I don't accept her, she said, her words a declaration of war. Like I care, Maan retorted coldly, his gaze fixed on Sameera, who had started to cry. Sameera's sobs echoed through the room. A sound that seemed to pierce the tension. When hearts pretend too long, they forget where the act ends and where love begins. Will Geet be able to hold her ground, or will Maan's dangerous charm pull her deeper into the role of a lifetime? Don't miss Chapter 7. It only gets more intense. Like, share, and subscribe to The Velvet Story for more twists, tension, and timeless romance. Until next time. Keep feeling every word.